Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Road to GT Academy 2013. As you can see, it's episode 10. I know there's been a bit of a gap between 9 and 10. That was mainly because my wheel broke. But I've got my new one now. You'll see that at the end of the video. But what I'll do is I'll sort of explain the difference between a pad and a wheel. You'll see how there isn't that much of a gap. And also, it's more as well to do with, obviously, if you watch the PlayStation 4 sort of launch, you'll have noticed that the PlayStation 4 pad is similar to the PS3, especially with the analog sticks, which is what I used on the PS3 controller. So this sort of brings that into account. Obviously, we don't know what will be allowed, what we can use with the PS4 or anything like that, because it's just the start. But it'll give you an insight into sort of the pad, the wheel, how the pad's not that far behind. How Gran Turismo actually helped with control sensitivity. That's actually helped hugely with the pad. It reduced the time difference as well on the pad. So we'll see that in this video. I'll just show you what I started off with though, with the pad. So there it is. Now I've used the analog sticks anyway, because that's what I use for accelerate, brake and turning. Since the Gran Turismo 3 and PlayStation 2, I think. It was mainly to do with the licenses. So I sort of realised that X and square doesn't give me the same amount of precision as the analog sticks, because I could actually get trail braking a lot better and things like that. Even though there was pressure in the X and square, if you didn't know that, there is pressure pads in there. The analog stick gives obviously that more precision because you can just rotate your thumb rather than having to judge your pressing of a button. So that's what I started with initially. Now with changing gears and sort of, you know, while playing for a long while, I found that the L2 and R2, they sort of go back a bit more. So if you grabbed your controller and tried it, they go the angle backwards. And I bought some triggers, as you can see there. Essentially what they do is they just reduce the amount of movement your finger has to make. So, you know, the less movement, the more comfortable you are, and then in long distance races and things like that, you're not getting sort of fingers that are hurting, and you know they're hurting, you're then thinking about the pain, where you should actually be thinking about other things like, you know, acceleration, braking, when to change gear and things like that. So I bought those triggers. Now they're only £3 for the more expensive ones, which they are. I know it was like £1 something for the cheaper ones. These were much better quality, and they're just clip-ons on the back. They literally just clip onto the button. There's no glue in or anything. I got it from Amazon, so if you wanted triggers to help you with the controller, just to get the peak of the times or more comfortable, highly recommend getting those. And the thing with the pad as well, what I will mention is I'll do a sort of some tips on how to improve with the pad. Now I found that I could sort of do things which helped me sort of get more precision with the pad, because in the end the way to get better time is precision, and precision is, you know, where you get the extra mile an hour, which gets you the extra time. And I found that if I did certain things, I could improve that. So I'll do a video on that at some point, and how you can improve with a pad for those pad users out there. But as this is for everybody, this video, that's what I used initially to qualify for the first national finals, was that pad with those triggers. I then went to that, a wheel stand pro, but it was with a G25. Wheel stand pro, if you're looking at a wheel stand but you haven't got enough space, get one of those. Absolutely awesome. Well worth the money. I used that for like 3 years or something. So yeah, highly recommend those. And my G25, what I found with the pad and going to a wheel is that you will be slower initially. It's just the way it is. Like for me, I've used a pad, I don't know, since I was like 10 or something, and then when I was like 19, 20, I got a wheel, so I was a bit like, what do I do? So, you know, you'll notice the times will be slower initially, but now I'm much faster on a wheel, and I wouldn't like to go back to using a pad. So if you're thinking about getting a wheel, and I would persist. Obviously your times may be slower initially, but persist and you will get faster with a wheel. I can assure you of that. So that's the Wheelstand Pro, and that's my DFGT. That my G25 broke during the last national finals, so I got a DFGT, and you can get that whole set for like 150 quid on eBay or something like that, 180 quid or something. So yeah, no, if you're looking for something quite cheap but still good, I'd recommend those. What I have now for you is a lap. These are both my laps. So top left is my quickest pad lap from the first national final. I could have qualified on that time, and then I went a bit quicker when I got my wheel. I did say you would be slower, but you will get the odd lap where you are sort of equal with your times or a bit quicker, as I was in this case. And if you watch through the laps, you'll notice that the pad you can be a bit more aggressive with, but with the wheel, because you can get like to a degree of precision, because obviously you get your both feet are working and your hands are working with the steering wheel, you can gain that extra mile an hour. So even though maybe you could accelerate faster with a pad, it's harder to turn. Now obviously if your tyres are squealing, they're not getting enough, they're doing too much essentially, and it means you won't gain as many miles an hour accelerating as you would if they weren't, which is what a wheel's good for, because you can get that extra degree of precision on the steering wheel. So what I'll do is I'll just let this play through now. Now you can have a look at the laps as they go through. You'll notice the wheel is far more precise with trail braking, and that the pad is more aggressive, but you'll also know that the lines are similar, even though this is different equipment. You know, it just shows you that you can be quick on a pad, and that, you know, if you're thinking, oh, what's the point in trying, I can't qualify on a pad and I can't afford a wheel, you're wrong. Essentially, you can still qualify on a pad. You've just got to put that bit more effort in with practice, and, you know, learn how a car reacts with the pad and how you can control it with a pad, and then you'll easily qualify just the same as a wheel. Best way to think about it is if you look at Samurai, the Japanese guy, he always uses a pad and he's always up there. You know, he's always with the wheel players. Absolutely stunning laps he can do. And these comparison videos just show that as well. Now remember, these are both my lap times, so I'll be taking the very similar lines. Obviously the wheel was done a bit more later in the competition. Even so, the lines are pretty much the same, as you can see there. Now you'll notice a slight difference in speeds as you go through these. So as we come out of this corner, we've got like a mile an hour difference or so. But even that, you know, the precision of the wheel and then the aggressiveness of the pad, they're cancelling each other out. I mentioned controller sensitivity as well. When they introduced that, it reduced the time gap significantly, because you could do lock to lock on a pad really quickly, and that meant you can control a car with oversteer or understeer a lot faster than you could with a wheel. So it used to be like a 5/10 gap or something like that between a pad and a wheel, and then it dropped. It's dropped a lot now. You can do pretty fast laps with a pad, depending on the car though. Obviously the more oversteer it has, the more aggressive you can be with a pad, and that's it really. So if you notice those laps, I'll probably put a separate video of the laps doing a proper comparison as well, for you, where it's just, you can watch them over and over again just to see the difference on each corner and things like that. But as you can see there, we're coming on to the final straights. The speeds are pretty much identical, the times are just slightly different, but you know, the end result is they're both qualification laps, and they both would have qualified me for the national finals. So that showed you that a pad can be as fast as a wheel, but a wheel also has a bit more precision. And I'll show you my new setup that I've just got. So I'll just let this play through now. And ta-da! So I've just bought this. I bought the racing seats and the new wheel, which is a G27. I only bought a G27 because I loved my G25. It was awesome, and the G27, I've been playing it for a week now since I've got it, and it's awesome, absolutely awesome. I'm going to do a review on the seat for you, and I'll upload the build of it as well. So that should be quite a funny video. It'll only be like 2 minutes, but it should be a good laugh. what I'm going to do as well for you is I'm going to put a few cameras up. So I'll put a camera up so you can see the steering input, see the pedal input. There'll be two separate cameras, and you can have the visual input of the game, and just see how my steering, my braking and accelerating all have an effect on the car. And I'm hoping that will be able to help actually sort of show you more of the techniques I've explained in the first 9 videos or 7 videos of actual driving technique, on how doing certain things and certain precision of things gets you that extra bit of time. So that was a quick video on equipment. Obviously you don't have to go that extreme. Obviously if you're into your sim racing, do, because it's worth the money in my opinion. But yeah, that's initially that for the equipment video. That's my view from the seat with the G27. Obviously I'll be looking up at the screen rather than straight down at the steering wheel, and yeah, apologies for the mess in the background. I sort of just built it and was playing around with all the wires. If you can guess which wire is to which there, you're good, because I still can't do that now. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and the videos are going to start coming out again far more often. As I said, I'll get the pads tip video out, I'll get a rig review out, a rig build, and I'm going to get some races out and get those track guides going. I keep mentioning the track guides, but because my wheel broke I didn't manage to do them, and I'm going to get them going. Just for the car I'm going to use on that as well, I'm going to use a GT5 because I think that's a slow enough car where you could build up a lot of speed in, but also a car which has oversteer as well, which is what I wanted to sort of use. So that's what I'll be using. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.